Good morning. Good morning,
Good
everybody.
morning.
Good morning. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the beginning of a new week. Welcome to the Monday morning edition of the BYOB show. Today, we're going to be talking about $1 million of the grant giveaway. Have you registered to get your portion of the pie? Have you registered yet to get the information to understand exactly what a $1 million grant giveaway is? Go to www.blackwomenequalpay.com to register for an informational session so you can learn how you can be a recipient of a piece of this grant. I'm going to pass it off to my wonderful co host. I am Rose Fauntleroy, and we are glad to see you this morning.
Good morning,
Good
everyone.
morning, everyone. I'm Brandon Smith Randolph, and just like Rosie said, welcome to a brand new day and a brand new week. We appreciate you joining us this morning because we still on this high from last week, Black Women Equal Pay. I hope you were able to join us in that teleconference because it was full. It was just so impactful with information that we just did not, well, most of us just did not even know. We weren't aware of it. Black women equal pay, but we're getting ready to wind that right into something else. I thank you for joining us this morning. And now to our next co host.
You
You're
might be on mute.
And,
Good
and she's on mute.
morning, everybody. Welcome this morning to a new week. We just came off of a high with the Tele Summit, Black Women Equal Pay Day. I hope you ladies was there. Good morning to Renita and Henrietta, Sierra. Thank you, ladies. Please share. My name is Chiquita Lindsay. I'm the queen of real estate, and women hire me to help them get over the fear of investing in real estate so they can retire whenever they want to, never worry about money, and leave a legacy for their children. And so we're here today telling you again about the grant, the Free Women Grant is still open for you to be certified in 12 different areas. And it's going to be a great week, and we're going to have a great show this morning.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Ebony Fuller, and one of the big questions we asked last week was, what would you do if $1 million was in your account today and then gone tomorrow? Wouldn't you be mad? I'm going to hand it on off. Think about that and share this broadcast.
Hey, everybody. I'm Cherie Caldwell, and I am really excited about this grant giveaway. There's just an awesome opportunity for you to earn an education that will help empower you, help you start your own business, help you to kick off a brand new chapter 2 in your world. So stay tuned. We're going to talk about this more.
Yeah.
All right, so we was talking about today about, being a Black woman and demanding equal pay and how it made each one of us, how it affects each and every single one of us. And it happens so many ways that we've all experienced something a little bit different, but all came with the same thought, which is crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
the crazy part
You're right,
about
Ebony. And guess we talked about with all of us being different age ranges, sometimes you don't understand it when you see it because of such an age difference. But in the end, it still affects us as Black women and the potential of what we can earn in our lifetime of working. Yeah.
exactly. Because if you look at when Ebony, you said, what would you do if you had $1 million in your bank account today, but it was gone tomorrow? I think that's why we don't necessarily, well, a lot of people don't know about the wage gap, but when you're looking at the wage gap and what you're losing over the lifetime of your career, I think because you don't necessarily see that money in your bank account be there and then disappear, it doesn't it doesn't hold the same significance. But when you think about when you go to the grocery store, or you have to decide whether you're going to buy these groceries or you're going to put your child in an extracurricular activity, when you look at, you don't have the, you have to make a decision because you can't do both. You have to do one or the other. That's when you think about the wage gap. That's when you think about you're working side by side with someone and they are making more than you to do the same job that you're doing, but you're paid less. When you think about the cost of health care, and I know I might be going a little deep, and y'all can take off on this and tell me, Rose, you're going a little too deep. But when you think about the cost of health care for you and your family, and whether or not you can go on vacation, take your family on vacation.
Vacation, what?
Yeah, vacation. So you either have health care and stay home and not show your family the the wonders of the world, because if you are out exploring the wonders of the world and one of y'all slip and fall and break your leg, you got to make sure you paid the health care bill so you can go to the doctor to get your leg fixed. What y'all think about that? That's where those disparagements come in at.
That right there hit deep because I have such a young family still. And we're still proactive. I have a 5-year-old son and I have a 7-year-old son. And when you said picking a vacation over health insurance, it was a time in my life that health insurance, what is that? And now I'm to the point that I have kids and families. So vacation, what? I think what it also is that I've been and kind of just realized this. Maybe I realized this before, but I guess I've been kind of programmed to struggle.
Mm.
And I didn't really think too much into it because everybody else around me that looked like me was in the same situation. I've got women around me that's working 2 or 3 jobs and we still can't go out and do a paint and sip. I got us girls, we get together, we got to get the cheap wine. We can't get the top shelf, even though we all working our butts off and stuff because we got families and we got to do this and we got to do that. So I think in a sense, I know for me, I was programmed to think that struggle was life.
And I guess it could be, Sherry, you want to talk about it? I guess it could be that you get used to it because everyone else around you is doing it. So it's like that adage, misery loves company, but you don't realize that you're miserable because everybody is in the same ship.
Yeah, you kind of just make yourself happy here and there. And then, then one day you open your eyes and you be like, hold on.
So part of it, I think what you said makes sense because you talk about how we get used to the struggle. We get used to this being the way. And that's the whole issue with all of the social justice systems, right? It's like we've been socialized as women, as minorities, as differently abled people, as citizens versus non-citizens. We've all been socialized around this culture. And when you hear someone say that anti-racism education is child abuse, what? You mean teaching people fairness, teaching that people are equal and the same? That's a problem? I'm like, well, then, wow, what do we do with that, right? So you think about it, here we are with systems and structures that have been put in place that prevent change. And we are raised in this way, and we're raised to think this is normal. We're raised to think this is normal. There was actually, there's the 13th Amendment was passed a long time ago, giving equality, but we haven't seen the impact of that. Because then there were Jim Crow laws, then there was all segregation, there was all kinds of things that the systems and structures put in place to keep that from actually being real, right? That was the true freedom of Black people. Then you have civil rights laws, voting laws, and quite frankly, there was a pay fairness law, Equal Pay Act back in 1963. 1963. And here we are, the same place. White women on average make 82 cents for the dollar that white men make. Black women are 62 cents. Native American and Asian Pacific Islanders, even less than that. And Latinos are even less than that. You know, and we're more than 50% of the population, well, at least 50%, depending on the day and how many births there are. We're probably 51%. But the point is, we've gotten really used to it. And it's like customary to think that men should get paid more. Why? We're doing the same job. And then, as Rose said, that translates into other areas. It all trickles down, because when you don't have that money and you have a gap, you can never make that up, you know, unless you take on things for yourself. And that's what we're here to do, help you take on things for yourself so you can build your own business and create your own way to financial freedom.
That's what you have to. Nowadays it's 2020, and I feel like, you know, that box that we were all put into, now is the perfect opportunity, because you don't have to climb over that wall anymore. Open the door and leave that room, because there's so many more opportunities out there, just like the one that we have right here. We are saying this right here is the door of opportunities. Come in and take an opportunity for yourself. Be selfish towards you for just a little bit, so that everybody else around you who deserves it can be fed from that tree. The problem is that when we have one tree and everybody needs to eat from that tree, the nutrients goes down. But if we continue to build or grow more trees of wealth within our community, then we can have more to go throughout. The roots can be strong together. And that's the whole ideology behind this program, is we got to get more women to have successful businesses and more women to see their worth. That way we have a lot more trees.
But we also need to have the buy-in and the support from men as well. Because, you know, men should be looking at this, because if you're married and both of you work, and your wife is making 62 cents on a dollar, or 82 cents on a dollar, or even less than that on a dollar, that's money that's coming out of your household. That's money that you have to make up when you're working harder and longer hours, time that you've spent or spending away from your family. So that we need to have that buy-in too. We need to have everyone's buy-in, because unfairness is unfairness, regardless of how you look at it. And so when you're looking at the Equal Pay Act, I looked at what you said. You said 1963. That was 57 years ago. Okay. Here we are, 57 years ago. This blows my mind. 57 years ago, we were talking, or they were talking about the same thing. Because, see, I'm not 57 yet, so I wasn't even here when they were talking about equal pay, equal wages on your job. Okay. I wasn't here yet. And I think Coach said, in order for us to close this wage gap by continuing to work, that'll take another 250 years. So guess what? I wasn't here then, and we won't be here then. And are we going to allow, not just the conversation, but are we going to allow the actions to continue to move that way? Because in 250 years, I won't be here, you won't be here, but our children's children's children will be. So are we leaving them saddled with the same disparities?
Right, and I think we have to look at, go ahead, Chiquita.
I don't think it'll ever be closed if we wait on them to do it. We have to create our own businesses and be entrepreneurs, because it's never going to be fair in their system and the traditional way of getting a job and making money. They're always going to keep us down. So I think 200 some years, you're right, Rose. We're not going to be here, but it's not going to happen unless you take control of your own business. And what Ebony says, what would you do with $1 million? You had it today and it was gone tomorrow. Well, it depends on how you made that million. Did you hit the lottery? Or did you actually make it from your own business? Because if you made it once, you can make it again.
Right.
Right. That's right. Come on, Chiquita.
But if you hit the lottery, then you know these lottery winners, they win millions of dollars and they're broke in a couple of years and they're broke.
Well, and that goes to one, you've never had that much money ever to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
So you tend to, all the things that you think you're in lack of, you tend to go and get. Folks in your family have never seen that much money before. So of course you want to support everyone. That's the lack of knowledge and education.
Right.
And those are things too that we were talking about earlier. Excuse me. Go away, gremlin. Go away. No water over here, gremlin. That's what we were talking about earlier, and how they are trying to write certain things out of history so that people won't be taught the right and proper way to be able to take care of yourself and your family. Because I think that's really what everybody really wants, is to be able to take care of your family in a proper, loving, and fair way.
Right.
So I want to jump in because I think we have to fight the fight on all fronts, right? Because we had the act put in 1963, and we can see we've made very little progress. I think it moved just a tiny bit, right? So think about that. So I agree with Chiquita. It's like, first, let's make sure we get enough women out there doing their own thing and supporting themselves and creating change and accelerating the wage gap. Then let's also support women in politics. Let's get more women elected in Congress. Why? Because we're still waiting for the Equal Rights Amendment, and where there's still the House Rule 7, I think it is, around the Paycheck Fairness Act, that's still out there. And that's the one, I know we talked about this last night, that would say there could be more transparency around pay. You wouldn't get in trouble for talking about pay. And that makes it more open for people to see if there's equity or not within pay. So let's do something about getting more women in Congress, more women elected, or the more we have women in power that can also be a part of making these decisions, then the more equal things will become for women. And then finally, I think it's, Chiquita hit it. It's like corporations were built by men back in the day. And so they're structured to support men. But we need to help raise up young women that are choosing those careers and help them get to the tops where they can be in those positions of power there also to start to shape things. So it's all three fronts: political, owning our own business, and helping women fight things in corporate America so they can make the changes that need to be made. This, we can't wait another 250 years at this pace for the gap to be closed. We need to take this on holistically and really fight it. But Chiquita's right. I think the fastest way to get more wealth in women's hands is to get yourself owning your own business and moving it forward. And that's what the grant is about. It's about empowering women. It's about giving you a hand up. It's getting you the education things because I tell you, coming from corporate America, I didn't know how to start an online business at all. So this information, this training is really helpful. It's empowering. I've learned a lot, and I'm growing, and I'm able to see the path forward for myself. And I'd love for other women to get this opportunity.
You said a mouthful, Cherie, and the main thing not the main thing, but one thing you just said is the path forward. Coming from corporate America, a lot of women who are working, and there's always going to be jobs, and there's always going to be people to work those jobs, because everybody is not cut out or want to have their own business. And you have to have foundational things to hold up the building blocks that take you higher. But the path forward, you could see with proper coaching, with wise counsel, and the opportunity for a grant, how you could transition those skills that you had in the corporate workplace to your own online business, and how you can run your business just like the corporation you work for. Because I think we tend to, and that's a programming thing too, but that's a subject for another day. You hear small business, small business, small business. Well, what do you think when you hear small?
Right.
Think about that. Think about that.
Yeah.
Small business,
Right.
small business, small business. Well, really, what is a small business? Corporations are also small businesses and started out like that. So
Right.
why not go to the end of what you want and build backwards? Build your business from the beginning. Start out building it like a corporation.
Right.
In a corporation, because they've grown so big, they have different departments. So you develop different departments for your, just like them. And therefore, you have the aspiration and you see that path to grow to that. They continually program small business, small business. Well, what exactly does that mean? Because right now, it's small business that is keeping this economy going.
You know, Rose, you just said something, and it brought me back to wanting to say, I remember being a stay-at-home mom and sacrificing my career goals the way I can raise my kids. I just could not imagine, sending them off to daycare, and I just didn't want to miss anything. And I remember sitting at home a lot, just like, oh, I want something of my own. I want to still be successful. And, all them years of trying and trying and trying, this community right here, I have never grown so much. So even if you are sitting at home and you're taking care of the kids and all of this stuff, use this opportunity to still build up your resume. All because you chose to stay home with the kids, it does not mean that you chose to stop your education, to stop building yourself. A lot of the times I felt so hopeless, so restricted. I don't feel like that anymore. I have a community of women that are constantly working their business and reminding me to work mine. I have a group of women that are supportive of my business and my goals, and women who understand my language. Because everybody has different languages in different departments. So even an opportunity like this, I always say, just take it. Take it, because you open up one door to an opportunity. Guess what ends up happening? A lot more doors gets created.
Right.
And then you're not left with regret, because the biggest thing in life that you have to deal with, which causes hatred and causes envy and all those negative feelings, is regret. Regret of not putting yourself first, regret of not recognizing what you need, and regret of just not opening up that door. So if you're sitting there on this opposite end of the computer and you're just like, maybe next week, maybe this, no, maybe today. Maybe today is the day that you decide to change your life, because at the end of the day, it is your life.
Mm-hmm.
And that's important. And, a lot of the times as women, we always want to put everybody else first. We always talk about that here. We always put everybody first. And even this weekend, I'm looking at things that I did, and I'm like, dang, I do that naturally. It just happens so naturally. But make it natural that you put yourself first too.
Yeah, exactly. And your first step to putting yourself first is to go to www.blackwomenequalpay and just read the information. Look at what's there. Think about the dream that you have and what you want to do with it. That could be your first step, is getting the information. Start your research, because you have to figure out what's best that's going to resonate with you and your personality. Everything may not be for everybody, but the first step to finding out what is or isn't for you is to get the information. And getting the information doesn't cost anything.
Well, getting information is how Google became a multi-billion-dollar industry. Getting information is like how Amazon do that stuff every day. You can't do nothing. Information sells. Your knowledge, somebody gonna pay you for that knowledge.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So
you know how to make a chicken pot pie? I don't. Guess what? I will pay you for your recipe.
Girl,
information is power.
Girl, don't talk about that because I need to take the cake ladies class because yesterday I got it in my spirit to make a pound cake. Okay, we're not gonna talk about that pound cake. Now let me tell you something. The batter, woo, the batter is out of this world. But what I should have done with that batter was take it to somebody else's house and let them cook that cake, okay? Because Rose put that cake in the oven, and I don't want to tell y'all about the rest, okay? Okay, all that eggs, butter, sugar, all of that.
Went to waste.
I'm gonna send y'all a picture. The cake don't look bad, but I'm gonna tell you, cooking it is not a strong suit of mine. Making the batter, oh, I can make you some batter. But Lord have mercy, yeah, D, you told me what to do, D. It's just not, and that's my point. Everything is not for everybody. You right, D. Lord have mercy. Girl.
Look, you go on Dee's page, you be like, ooh, I can make that cake. Ooh, I can do that.
Thank you. I'm trying to be the cake lady, and see you got to stay in your lane. Everything is not for everybody. That's why you have to take that step and get the information. That's your first step. Now, what you do with that information, that matters too. But you have to get it. That's your first step to freedom.
Monetizing
That's
your knowledge. Like, people really just don't understand how knowledge is power. I don't know how to cook soul food to save my life. Okay? But I love soul food. Somebody put a nice soul food restaurant out there, how I can make some bomb fried chicken.
Girl, you can't
Let me look, I can clean the chicken, okay?
That's the first step. That's what we're talking about here, though, is getting the information so that you can make a good first step. You might can fry bomb fried chicken, but if you ain't clean that chicken right, what good does it do if it looks good and you peel it back and there are feathers and hair everywhere? Okay. I'm serious. I mean, that's a heck of an analogy. But when
that is a good analogy.
Start with the first step first, and you skip, a few steps in there, like I maybe did with that cake, So, but the first step is to get the information. The second step is to apply it.
That's right.
So you can apply it at www.blackwomenequalpay.com. Get the information. We have 12 different certifications. There has to be something that will resonate with you and someone in this community that will resonate with you.
Right. And there's $1 million for multiple grants. There's going to be a lot of people that can be helped by that $1 million.
Oh my
a
God.
lot of women that'll get a part of that for their grant that'll set them up on their way to financial freedom. It's the start. You got to have the education, the information. As you said, Ebony, it's power, right? So getting the information and the knowledge so that you can build your own business and then have your own wealth and leave a legacy. We have to start creating generational wealth. We need to accelerate. That's exactly what this is all about, accelerating and empowering women.
Exactly, because you don't want it to be 50 more years and you've not moved forward. And speaking of that, it was something you said, Cherie, that made me think of when you were talking about supporting in the political arena, supporting in the corporate arena. We can't keep letting folks fight these battles by themselves.
Right.
We have to everybody is not geared up to go into Congress to fight, but you can help them do some background work so that they are. You have to, it's like a chain, and you link arms together and you do your part because your part supports the next part and the next part supports that next person and so on and so forth. Don't be the weak link in the chain. If we keep the chain together, we can move this thing forward.
That's right.
I think a lot of the times also is that people are speaking for us who don't look like us, who is trying to, it's a difference between I hear somebody else tell me their experience and then I'm going to talk about their experience, other than just putting the light on the person who actually experienced it and stuff. So a lot of the times we have a lot of people that's ahead of us that's speaking for us. I'm watching all these election campaigns, and I'm like, you don't know my struggle. Who
And
you done talk to?
Right, but they don't have to look like us to represent us, but you have to interact with us and get to know what the struggles are. You can't guess it. You can't think you know it. You need to walk beside that person that's in it and help them carry that other shoe to see what it is that they're going through.
And there's a difference between a true ally and someone who's just trying to make a political statement to get votes. And you can tell the difference,
Exactly.
right? You can.
So
There are true allies out there, and we need to embrace and keep and get them and support them too, so that we can move forward, because
Right.
they're out to help us move forward.
Exactly. And we have a responsibility as well to make sure that we're knocking on those doors and that we're talking to those people, because most likely they have things to do. I'm not going to say they just forget about us. I'm not going to say that. But we have a responsibility that we stay forefront in their minds and what's going on and what we need.
Right.
And what we need when the legislature is in session, go down to the legislature, sit there and see what they do, see how they do it. Go around to the offices. If it's no more than to say good morning, what is your platform? If it's no more than that, and then volunteer if you can and have the time to find out how these things are done. Do the research. That's the first step.
Right. We need to vote. We're led to believe that our vote won't matter and all that. And that's not true. Why do you think there's so much effort into voter oppression? Why do we think they try to play around with it? Why do we think this whole conversation is going on about the post office and mail-in ballots, right? Mm-hmm. So we definitely need to register, and we may have to suffer with our mask and stand in really long lines this year, but we have got to do that. We have so got to vote and then educate ourselves on the issues at hand. Sometimes we want to go in and just go down and check all the way down the line for our party, but we don't really know what all those people stand for. And again, Ebony, you're right. There's so much available to us now easily through Google and other things. We don't have to spend hours researching like you might have had to back before. Right. But technology is our friend in lots of ways in terms of helping us educate ourselves and leverage technology to earn money. So there's so much that we can do, and we don't have to wait for permission or for the opportunity to be given to us by others. We can create that way for ourselves. And then we need to vote and support others in creating a more just world. So
absolutely.
Yeah. But Cherie, you're right, but some of us, this has grown children.
Oh, yeah.
And grandchildren. We need to make sure they're
absolutely
registered.
Absolutely, Chiquita.
And they vote. Right. They need to be educated to not take it for granted.
Right.
That they don't have to vote.
If you, we got a couple of trees. We got the tree that's going to help us grow, flourish, and everything. And then we got the tree of poison. It just seems like lately we've been feeding that tree of poison all that water, and it's been telling us that our votes don't matter. So guess what? The Black community, we're not going out there and voting. We listening to these lies. But the fact of the matter is that we have a bigger voice now than we have ever done in history.
Well, but you got to look at this. If we did not have a bigger voice, if we did not have a powerful platform and a stance, they would not be trying to take it away, gerrymander it, redraw lines, put out the fear, all of that to keep you away if you did not have that. And it's just like y'all heard me say before, when they hire you on your job, they don't hire you just because they need a warm body. They hire you because they see the skills and abilities that you have that can grow their company and move their company forward. They hire you because you are the best at what you do, but they don't want you to know that you're the best. Because if you know and recognize that you're the best at what you do, then you will take your skills and abilities and build something for yourself, as what we are offering and sharing with you now. They don't just hire you to just say, I want to give you some money. They hire you because they see the potential in you. They see your talent. They just don't want you to see it. So in the thing of it, and I'm just, thank you, Lord, I'm just seeing this. It trickles down into everything we do. This thing with this mail-in ballot and all of that, and it's going to get lost. That's just fear to keep you from doing it, because they know the power that you have. They just don't want you to know the power that you have. So I'll be we have early voting in line, early voting here right now. So I will be leaving out here very shortly. And y'all know I don't leave the house willy-nilly because of the coroner. I'm going to don 2 masks and keep one in my pocket. And I'm going to stand in line to vote.
I'm going to do the same too, Rose. I thought I was going to do a mail-in, but no. I'm going there. It's that important with the mask and going early.
Let me tell you this one thing too, because it might affect other people. I originally put in for mail-in ballot, and so for the primary, it never ever came. And so I went to go vote, and they're like, "Oh, we have record of you getting a mail-in ballot." I was like, "I never got it. I never got it." So you can sign an affidavit. So don't think that you can't go vote, because they'll look to validate that. And once you sign the affidavit that you never got it, I mailed in at the same time my mail-in application for the primary, and I went ahead and did the one for the November election. I still haven't seen that one. There's been plenty of time for that to come. But and someone said, "Did you apply for mail-in?" I'm not going to send another one. I'm just going to go vote. I'm going to put on my mask, go vote. And I think we've learned that mask will help us. We need to wash our hands as soon as we walk away, and we need to get out and vote. So thank you for voting, Rose. And you too, Chiquita. We just need to encourage everybody.
And I'm sure I'll be going live while I'm down there in that line, because last week it was a really, really long line, and my intention was to be there before they open. But I'm gonna get out and socialize today with my mask and my gloves on. I'm be wrapped up like a mummy, because it is cold here, so I won't look so crazy wrapped up like a mummy. So 46 degrees this morning.
Wow.
Yeah.
40 what?
It's 46 degrees.
46.
I asked Alexa, I was like, it sure is mighty cool in here this morning. I got buried down under the covers a little deeper. Then I said, Alexa, what's the temperature outside? And you know, she told me, she said, it's 46 degrees and it's only going to be 67 today.
Wow.
I won't look so crazy out there with that coat and my scarf tied all around my head like Marilyn Monroe. My mask on. So, y'all, we have had a wonderful time before you all today, and we hope that you all have gleaned some information, good information from us this morning to start your research, to start your path to closing your own wage gap. We don't have to wait for anyone else to do anything for us. We have everything we need right here and within us. So go to www.blackwomenequalpay.com. Stay tuned with us, because you know we're coming back, and we have some great things coming down the pike, some exciting things, some prizes, some sponsorship. We doing it big, y'all. So anyone want to wrap it up for us? Nobody wants to wrap.
Well, you guys go ahead and choose you. It's the beginning of a brand new week. Take this week as a new opportunity. See your strengths. Find your purpose and act. This week will be all about actions. What are you going to do for you? Because I'm going to ask on Friday. what you did for you. And I want to see a lot of comments talking about what y'all did for you and for your growth.
Absolutely. Well, y'all, it's been real. It's been fun. I gotta go find me something to put on these arms because it's right chilly up in here, and I really don't want to turn on the heat already. And Patty, I see you saying it's 34 degrees in the Poconos. So yeah, that cold weather is moving this way. Um, Thank you all for joining us. We really appreciate you. Thank you, Periscope. Thank you to folks on YouTube. Thank you to the ones who join us faithfully on Facebook and all these social media platforms. Have a wonderful day and have a wonderful day on purpose. Bye, everybody.
Bye.